If you want to overcome all your fears, begin by understanding the root cause. Why are you afraid? And what are you afraid of? How come? How did that fear develop? Think back throughout your life. Think to how you grew up, what type of situations you were exposed to, how people treated you in different scenarios, and you'll probably start to realize that they're not there for no reason. And this is really important because if we don't acknowledge and understand where our brains are coming from, the kind of angle becomes skewed. And what really starts to happen is self-resentment. You feel like you should just get over it. You should just be stronger than this, right? And what that actually winds up doing is making you even weaker. So the very tactic that most people use as a coping mechanism is actually making the fear have an even greater grip and hold on their life. But when you understand why it's there and you fully acknowledge it and you say things to yourself like, oh, it's okay, it's reasonable, I see how this developed, I see why I feel this way. What that really creates is an opening, a gap, a space where all of a sudden you can take action. Allowing that self-love to really kick in and to truly land is one of the most beautiful gifts that you can give to yourself if you really want to overcome your fear. Now, once we've gained the understanding and awareness and we've truly acknowledged and let ourselves know that it's okay to feel what we're feeling, the next step is to really expose yourself to the fear itself. And this is the uncomfortable part, the part where you'll want to run away. But the trick is to really become comfortable being uncomfortable. You're not supposed to get rid of your fear. Remember, courage is not getting rid of fear and then feeling courageous. Rather, it's acting despite fear being there. So you move towards what you want regardless of how you feel, and you accept what you're feeling, not resent it. And the reason that's so much more of an effective strategy is because instead of putting yourself into a locked position where it feels like you're fighting your own brain and getting in your own way and doing all kinds of crazy loops and circles, instead you're really just accepting how you're feeling and moving towards your goal regardless. Think about it. How do you get comfortable with something? It's by being around it, by giving yourself the opportunity and the chance to actually experience it. I remember when I had severe social anxiety and I could barely leave the house. I couldn't talk to any strangers or anyone I didn't know, and I struggled to even communicate with my family and loved ones. And when I was at that dark place, the idea of going out and trying to meet people or connecting with anybody or going to some kind of event felt like the scariest thing in the world. And so what I would always tell myself was, once I get rid of this anxiety, once this horrible feeling goes away, then I will go do all the things I want and I will live the life that I finally deserve. But as you can imagine, that just kept me stuck. I continued to behave in the same way that I did before. I continued to isolate myself and to really just become more and more anxious, which then led me into a deep, dark depression. So here's what I figured out during that time. It really is much more effective if you just go do the things you're afraid of right now anyway. Again, keeping in mind that we've understood ourselves, we have that self-awareness, self-acceptance, but once that's there, we've got to move, we've got to try. And a surefire way to actually improve my level of anxiety was to talk to new people, was to join a sports team, was to, go and perform a musical piece on stage as I was learning the piano or the guitar. So these things that I was so afraid of, recording videos, right? All these things seemed so difficult and scary and big, and really, once you do it, it shrinks and you gain power because you start to realize it's not that scary after all. Whatever you're afraid of, if you keep hiding from it, if you keep trying to avoid it, it's only getting bigger and stronger, and you are just basically handicapping yourself, putting yourself in a position where you're at a massive disadvantage. This is never gonna end up well. When your fight or flight is triggered, the more that you choose flight, the more you feel like you have to run away. And this is the vicious cycle that we have to put an end to. And one of the best ways that you can gain some momentum with and to make this whole process even easier is to adopt positive self-talk. That means you tell yourself it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna dive in. And when you start to talk to yourself in a reassuring way, when you start confirming that, yes, I'm gonna take action, yes, I'm gonna do it, and it's okay if I fail, it's okay if it doesn't go that well, or if it doesn't meet my expectations, because I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm getting better. This is really a healthy way of brainwashing yourself into doing what you really want. So you're using your conscious mind to impact your subconscious mind and get it to really put you in the state that you need to be in order to do what you need to do. If you feel good, it's way easier to take action. If you're in the state of fear itself, then yes, of course, you can still move forward, but it's a little more difficult. So as you practice, as you start to use exposure therapy and put yourself in scary situations that you really want to try to avoid naturally, all of a sudden you are really starting to grow quite rapidly. But with that positive self-assurance, positive self-talk, it's making it so much easier. No matter what you're afraid of, no matter what you're holding yourself back from, whether it's starting that new business and growing something truly meaningful, something impactful, if it's starting a new relationship with somebody that you really are attracted to, or even if you want to change your health and your diet and you're afraid to go away from your patterns, it's about making a decision to say, I'm no longer going to continue in this pattern that I've been stuck in for so long. And look, if you want my personal help to have me really support you and guide you to help you make your life the best that it can possibly be, then I invite you to reach out and book a one-on-one consultation with me. Just hop over to erafael.com. The link to that is in the description. And there you can book a call to see if we're a good fit. We'll talk, see what's going on in your life, where you want to head from here, what your goals are. And if I feel like I can really support you, then you could become a client, and I will really do everything in my power to make sure and guarantee that you're growing week over week, getting better, seeing your life just get brighter and brighter and brighter. Again, if you want to take advantage of that, just go to erafael.com and book yourself a call with me, and I'm looking forward to talking to you. Next, I want to make sure that you consider the idea of seeking new experiences in your life as a whole, because the more that you're out of your comfort zone, the more that you're doing something new and meaningful, something that really wakes you up and pulls you into present moment, the more confidence you gain and the more momentum you have, and the easier it becomes to take on the big scary thing. Of course, do it if the fear is there anyway, but at the same time, the other side of that coin is make it easier for yourself. Do more stuff that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like you can do anything. And when you build that momentum, when you start to really get the snowball rolling down the hill, it takes on a life of its own. And all of a sudden, you don't have to put in that much effort to get what you want. And what I really mean is getting the most out of yourself in order to truly live up to your potential and to feel like you're maximizing your time and your energy and doing the best that you possibly can. It requires courage to take on new experiences. And if you keep holding yourself back and doing what you're used to and what you're comfortable with, of course, it's certain you will continue to experience the same outcome.